Hi, this is Terri. Welcome back to my channel. I've got some fun stuff to talk about, and then I'm kind of cranky and angry and frustrated. So we're going to start with the fun stuff. So as part of the June challenge, Shift Economic Power, I have been purchasing from some Black women-owned businesses, and I keep getting fun packages in the mail. I've gotten some vodka and some whiskey, and I don't know if I looked at Ray. Well, I looked at you because you don't drink. Ordered some wine. I got some jewelry. So this is from Rosylnn Designs out of Atlanta, and it's super fun stuff. First of all, I bought some earrings, and they're all unique, one of a kind. Look at these. These are so fun. But I'm not one to wear earrings and a necklace at the same time, and those don't quite match. But I got two necklaces, and it came wrapped in pretty pink paper, and I'd asked her for stuff that would fit well with what my uniform tends to be when I'm on YouTube. But look at how fun that is. And I'll make sure that the link is in the description, or you can just go out to my social media, because I think one day last week I had her showcased, and so you can see it. And I've got a couple of other, open it up, because it's wrapped in pink. I got some other fun earrings that are definitely bold statements. So super fun. I'm super excited about that. And I also ordered some makeup from Uoma. Uoma, not sure how you say that, but I got some new foundation and some eyeliner and concealer so that I can, cover up the dark circles under my eyes. And anyway, tomorrow I'm going to be following a pop-up. It's the BEG pop-up that Kim Roxy from Lamique and another gal are putting on, and they're just going to have a whole bunch of Black women-owned, I think, creatives on there with a lot of fun stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what other ways I can support the economy and support some Black women-owned creators and businesses at the same time. Which brings me to my not so fun topic. So what I'm trying to do when I don't get out for hikes or walks with other people, I'm trying to get onto the treadmill and use that as an opportunity to do some of the research for my next book, Piloting to Power. And I have been procrastinating on this book, Invisible Women, because a year and a half ago, I think I read the first 4 chapters and ended up being so incredibly angry and frustrated and overwhelmed that I set it aside. Actually, I handed it to my husband and said, you need to read this book so that you can understand how 95% of the world has been designed and created for men and not for women, and the impact on women. And Caroline Criado Perez is out of the UK. That's who she is. And so this book has a global perspective, so it's not just a US-based thing. And I started once again, and so today I spent 50 minutes walking on the treadmill, highlighting furiously, and I got really angry again. And the reason why I was angry is I think about how, I think specifically within my household, how my privileged, white, heterosexual, cis man husband has no realization of his true privilege, and how so many men like him don't experience the pain of being Black or brown or queer or a woman or any sort of intersectionality there, to realize that all of us are trying to hold the line with the Trump administration trying to roll everything back, and at the same time trying to push for greater equality. And, it's a slog. It's a lot of work. And in reading this, I was just reminded of a situation where I was really frustrated with my husband a couple of years ago. He was going to go out on a motorcycle ride with the dad of somebody that Ray hangs out with. And I don't particularly care for this guy. He's a bit of a misogynist. No, he's a total misogynist, and he's totally sexist, and I don't like to hang out with him. And Zeke was going to go on a motorcycle ride with him. And I asked him, I'm like, why? Why are you spending time with someone who has values that are not in alignment with how we're trying to raise our children, how we're trying to operate within the world? And he just didn't get it. He just didn't get why hanging out with somebody like that was not that big of a deal. And I just said, basically, you are supporting his behavior. You don't call him out on it. You hang out with him, and you're basically saying it's okay to be that way. And so what you're doing is, by being complicit with that, you're making my job harder in being a woman and trying to hold this line. Eventually, he changed his mind, and he didn't end up going. And I handed him the book. Well, that was after he said, so what do I need to know? What do I need to do? And I was reminded of something that Jada Pinkett Smith said, or a guest that she had on Red Table Talks, and it was the racism episode. And the racism expert basically said to the white producer, it's not their burden to educate you. Go get educated, go Google. And I could have just said to him, look, there's tons of shit out there. I read this stuff all the time. I listen to stuff. I educate myself. Go educate yourself. And I thought, nope. So gave him the book, gave him some podcasts to listen to, gave him some articles to go read. And I asked him a while later if he read the book, and he said yes. And I was like, did you really get past this point? And he basically lied about reading the book, and he lost interest, and he just totally dropped the ball. And that was so frustrating, and it continues to be incredibly frustrating to me. And right now, in light of everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter and the police brutality and trying to get some sort of change to the systemic and institutional racism, I don't see him actively doing anything on a daily basis. And he didn't do it for women. He doesn't do it for the Black people in our community. He'll watch something if I recommend it. We went to the protest because I think I was the one who said, yes, let's go. But, without me pushing or prodding or nagging, I just don't see him doing much, largely because he just doesn't feel the pain. And I'm really at a loss as to what to do because, in our family, I'm a woman, we have a queer person in our family, and, it's like, why isn't this enough? Why aren't we enough to be a motivator or some sort of a motivator to really take action, to really be much more intentional and to be much more vocal and active in trying to level the playing field and create a more equitable and just society. And part of my resentment is he has copious amounts of free time and I don't. And yet I spend a lot of time every single day working on this and making introductions, trying to put out in the month of June, and I'm not sure I'm going to stop the Shift Economic Power, the posts, because Shift Economic Power, well, my whole thing is about we live in a racist and sexist society, and money is power. So what can we do to shift perspective, shift our attention, and then shift our dollars? And so I can really, next month, who knows what group of people I'm going to focus on. Maybe it's back to women. Maybe I'll focus on something in the queer community, and Rhea probably needs your help on that, so that'd be a fun thing for us to work on. But it's just I'm so angry and frustrated. I've also gotten, I see on Twitter, I continue to see the white male investors who are suddenly all woke, and I'm not expecting that this wokeness is really going to be sustained. It feels like performative allyship. It feels like it's incredibly temporary. I exchanged emails with a VC who I've never met in person, but he and I exchange emails periodically. He sends out a newsletter and then I often respond back. And in something this week, he said, yeah, we've seen improvements in gender equity, and then he went on to talk about what he's focusing on right now, which is about Black Lives Matter and getting more money and attention around improving and eradicating systemic racism. And I pushed back and I said, I'm not sure gender equity in tech has really improved all that much. And in light of COVID, I think it's worse because women are now having to do more at home. They're not getting a break. They're not able to necessarily hire people to come in and provide any sort of the other help. And the men, if we're talking heterosexual couples specifically, the men aren't necessarily pitching in to help. And I'm hearing of more and more women who are having to quit their jobs because they don't have childcare, they don't have camps, and they are having to make a decision because they're done. They're completely burnt out. They're unable to do all of it in light of the pandemic. And we aren't seeing much difference in check writing capabilities on the part of women investors within venture capital firms. That didn't change. It's still 92% men. We're not seeing we haven't seen a significant uptick in the investing in women-led businesses. So I would argue that no, it is not necessarily better. And I pushed back and I said, I think it's the lens that you're looking through. Because you're paying more attention to it, it looks like it's better because you weren't paying attention to it before. But I would argue that it's not significantly better for women in tech. So so getting back to what I'm dealing with and my frustration and my, specifically with my household. And I'm also concerned about the fact that my husband is basically modeling behavior that my son is watching and he's going to perpetuate, which is he doesn't have to care about it because it's not something that is one of his pains. He's privileged, white, educated, male, well-loved, well-supported. And I don't know what to do. I'm really at a loss as to how to get more cis, hetero, white men on board with a sustained participation in making a difference in creating a more equitable and just society, and not having this be something that is just now because they're suddenly paying attention to it. But I just anyway, I told you some of the stuff was going to be good and some of it not so good. And anyway, Ray, once again, I didn't give Ray a heads up because I was working on a client project most of the day after I did some research on the treadmill. And any thoughts, Ray?
I mean, you're not wrong. A lot of cis-het-white dudes are just ignoring everything because it doesn't apply to them, which is some bullshit, because I try to pay attention to the causes, the struggles of people who are different from myself. Mm-hmm. Currently, I'm paying attention to the struggles of people of color, and yeah, we need to do something about it and just kind of take steps.
So do we continue to push? Do we continue to nag? Because frankly, I'm just like, fuck you, I'm done. If at this point you're not going to care, I don't know what's going to make you care. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know. Well, I think that's enough for today. I'm like, is it too early for a cocktail? I think I have some champagne open in the fridge. So, anyway, if you have any thoughts, please share them with me. I would be more than happy to hear. If you'd like to poke and prod the Cis-Het-White Dudes, I'm trying to use what you said because it kind of sounded funny.
Yeah, Cis-Het-White Dudes.
Then, poke and prod, and let's keep on the pressure. I'm not willing to give up. It's Friday. I'm frustrated at a client project I was working on. And, I don't know. I just don't know. So anyway, on that cheery note, but I have pretty jewelry. So thanks again, Roz, for my pretty stuff. I hope all of you are out shopping and supporting Black-owned businesses, and specifically Black women-owned businesses. If you have any that you absolutely love, go ahead and let me know, and I will be happy to showcase, highlight, and promote them on all my social media channels and platforms. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And if you'd like to be reminded of these videos and my lovely cheeriness, then go ahead and hit the bell and you can get a notification. And as always, take some risks, let go of perfection, and above all else, have some fun.
Wash your hands.
And wear a mask, because you know what? COVID is spiking. Woo! Cheery, cheery.